Good afternoon, welcome to Sunday's edition, of course, of our Craft Along, whereas for a couple of weeks now, we've been doing our Craft Alongs, pre-recorded of course, but we've been doing them for you guys at home to watch something brand new for you to get the goods and the best out of your crafty tool. So when it comes to this one today, it's all about the pearl powders. Now you can have a look across on the website, so if you've not already got them, and of course you can still grab hold of them. For those that have already got them, well, this is the Craft Along that's going to be perfect for you. What I would certainly advise you to do is start saving them to your playlist, because I know that once you see what's going to be made, you're going to be wanting to do them in maybe some kind of different formations. But that's exactly what this Craft Along is all about. Now, if you are across on the website, great.co.uk.com or .eu, but to actually do the Craft Along and make the Craft Along, you need to see the Craft Along. Well, as of course I'm on this side here, so that means who's across on the other side this Sunday evening / afternoon? It is, of course, my gorgeous friend Debbie Robinson's in. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, I was just about to go, it's me, Crafty Auntie. Yes, it's me. I've got a full hour with these fabulous, gorgeous pearl powders, and I absolutely love them. And this is your project that you're going to be making. I love these, Craig. I don't know about you, but it's that bit that always gets me. That wow factor, those beautiful pearl powders, rich, intense colours with that gorgeous shine. And that's what we're going to be doing today in this hour's Craft Along. Now, as it is a pre-record, I will tell you, like I say, every time I do one of these, I need you to tag myself and Craig in yours when you've completed yours, so that we can have a little nosy at what you've done. Bet, I hear you ask, what do I need for this?
What do we need?
Craft Along. Well, here's my menu. Let's have a little look. You're going to be needing the pearl powders. Now, I've used 3 of the 4, is it 3 of the 4 sets, I think it is? Okay. Mystical Moments, Rich and Intense, Shimmering Garden. If you've got all 4, you can use whatever colours you want from them. I've just chosen an individual colour from each of these sets, which is why I've got all those 3 there. Contemporary Floral Stencil Set, which came out with these at the same time. I love the stencils, but I'm just using one of the stencils from that free pack. I, of course, as you all know, I love the With Love die.
No, you don't.
So it's making an appearance. I've made an appearance for a long time, Craig, let me tell you. So With Love mini die, watermark ink pad, white cardstock, black cardstock, and these additional ones that you're going to need, of course, are the things that you need to support making this. So we need a Gemini, either a mini or a, in fact, yeah, we could get away with a mini alone today.
Nice.
Any die cutting machine. Guillotine, Scoremaster, fan brush, which is that lovely brush that is perfect for these pearl powders. A blending tool. Now, I've actually used one of the little teardrop ones, so that's just my personal preference, but you can work this with a normal blending tool. Now, I've put on here hairspray, because I find hairspray sets it really well. If you haven't got hairspray, Spray and Shine will give you that lovely clear varnish over the top and an extra little twinkle. Low-tack tape, and, of course, all-purpose glue. So that's all the tools you need to create this project, and I'm really excited. I've got a few things lined up. I just want to get all my measurements ready for you, so we can get cracking and get started with this Craft Along.
Awesome, sounds good to me. But while you do that, Debbie, for those that haven't already got their hands on this full set, we'll go over it just to say that because it is, of course, the pre-record, no comments. Still, please, while you're watching, chat away. We've got the social team that will be there just helping out as well, answering any questions, and then just, of course, joining in that fun. So usually when it comes to the Craft Along, I tend to go a little bit quieter other than the comments. So within this one here, it's going to be pretty much full on Debbie. But if there is anything to think of, we will ask Debbie for your sake. Now, let's have a look at this one here, because you've got an incredible bundle here. These are so beautiful to get creative with, and as, of course, as Debbie showed you there, the Craft Along is no exception. So this is your pearl powder. This is a 20-piece Showstopper set. Now, you're going to be £140 or $180, but if you're platinum, that's going to come down to £112 or $144, which consists of all of these. So let's go through what you're going to be getting here, because you're going to be getting the pearl powders, of course, being the mystical moments. So this is where it's going to be giving you your 4 colours, but what you've got is the look of these on a white card and also on a black card as well. Now, these are so versatile to use when it comes to different forums, as we'll see within the Craft Along, or of course you can always go back on YouTube and see what we've done with them in the past as well. That effect that you get, and please trust me, when it comes to black card, on screen does not do them justice. When you see them visually in front, they look phenomenal. Now that's just 2 of the sets I've shown you, that one being the Pearl Powders Rich and Intense. We've also then got our metallic melodies here. So these colours are all, look at there, that really shows off on your dark card. That is then going to give you the ability to use them individually if you want, or all of them will work as course as a whole array together. So that one being your 4th one that you've got, all these tubs, they are going to last you a long time as well, because they're a little bit like glitters, you actually don't need a lot of them. So that is the actual Pearl Powders that's giving you the 4 sets with 4 in each one. But then what we're going to be giving you as well, for techniques that you might want to follow along with, that is then going to be giving you the Festive Bauble, so still plenty of time to be using that one. So you're going to be getting your, that one being a 2D folder, and then, yes, we know, of course, Halloween is coming. It might be next year. It might be next year, but it's definitely coming. So you've got that there with the spider webs. You've also got the elegant florals as well. So these ones being 5x7 2D folders. And then you've got your pumpkin and leaves as well. Even if you just start to use them within that cold months, although we tend to think autumn, you can still be using them within the actual winter months. Then what about the stamps? You've got all of kind of your mandala style floral stamps. You've got your traditional blooms. These are all individual, by the way. And then you've got your butterflies, beautiful butterflies, which we all know Debbie loves and adores her butterflies. And then you've also got your seasonal elements. Now these ones, certainly with the skull and that, still all the rage at the moment. Don't quite get it, but you might know someone in the family that really likes that style, of course, of the skulls. That's in there. So this is still everything within the Showstopper. Don't worry, we're way to wrap up so we can go straight to Debbie in a second. But we're not finished there. What we've also got is we've got our stencils. So you're going to be able to use these. Now the stamps, the stencils, the folders, you can use them with out the powders, but of course they work well with the powders. You've got your magnificent mandalas. You've then got your contemporary florals. Then you're also going to be getting your seasonal trio. So let's turn that one in there. And then my personal favourites, I do have to say, the bold patterns. You'll see me use these ones quite a lot. That one being everything that consists within your Showstopper there. So you've got the powders, you've got the folders, you've got the stamps, and you've got all the stencils at £140 or $180, with of course the platinum price of £112 or $144. So they're all there on the website for you to check out, .co.uk, .com or .eu. Get chatting in the comments while you're following along. The social team will be there for you. But in the meantime, I think let's start with the craft along, Debbie.
Absolutely. So we're going to cut our card blank. I've gone for an 8x8. If you've already got a pre-cut one or pre-made, because we do sell them, you can use one of those. But for those that don't, just make your own, which is why I've got my guillotine and my scoreboard. So we're going to make our own 8x8 card base. We're going to cut the mats and layers as well, and then we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty with the stencil and pearl powders. So first things first, just grab yourself a couple of sheets of white cardstock. I want a big guillotine, Debbie, not the little one. And I'm going to use this to create my own 8x8. So pull your leg out or your arm, whichever way you call it. I call it a little leg. And we're going to take this to 8x8 inches. So first off, a nice clean cut for the card front, 8x8.
Yeah.
And then the second one, now, I always take this to about 8 3/4, but you could take it to 9 if you want to simplify it and then score it an inch.
Okay.
Or you could take it to 8.5 and score it half an inch. But I'm going to stick with what I normally do, which is 8 3/4 by 8. Now, before we put the score line in here, we're going to, while we've got the guillotine out, we'll get all the other bits done. So you should have a piece that is 8 3/4 by 8 and an 8 by 8, because when we've put a score line in, that'll fold under and over or inside to create our card base. So just put that to one side, because the next thing we need is our black cardstock, and we're going to cut our first mat and layer to 7.5 inches. So it's 7.5 inch square. So that will be our first matte and layer base. And then we're going to have one where we're going to be putting our squares onto. So we need another white one. So bring in your white cardstock again. And this will be 7 1/4. So I'll just show you what they will look like in a second when they're all matted and layered up. So that will sit into that one, which will then sit onto our card base once we've got that scored. Nice frame round there. And then I just want one more piece, which will be a black piece. And for now, I'm just going to cut that down to, so if obviously I've gone like 1/4 inch, I'm going to take this down to 7. So a 7-inch square by 7. Okay,
right,
so that's the first bit. I'm going to put that to one side, take all these little pieces because they'll come in handy later, just move them to one side. So that'll be what sits inside there as well. I might take more off depending when we finish because where we're going to be putting is all our squares into there to create that lovely pattern that you can see moving forward. Okay?
I love that.
Right, so push that to one side, bring back in your cards because we'll get the card base made first and then we'll cut some more pieces up. But I just want to score this at that 3/4 inch. Now, if you've taken it to 9, score at 1 inch. If you take it to 8.5, score at half. But I prefer the 3/4 part to this. Or you could, if you've got your larger scoreboard, just score at 8 inches and you'll create your tab because we need an 8x8 base, basically.
True.
I find it too much of a tight squeeze there and I sometimes come off my track.
Exactly, yeah.
So I do it from this side. So again, just take that to 3/4 inch. And then we're just going to, and that's all we need for the scoreboard. We don't need the scoreboard anymore. I'll put that to one side. Just burnish. And then this choice is down to you. You can either take it and put it around the back, or I like a neater finish, so I put mine on the inside.
Got ya.
So that my back and my front are quite seamless. So just take your glue of choice. It can be finger lift tape, it can be a wet glue, red liner tape, or of course our very trusty, well-loved tape.
Yeah.
Pen.
Tape pen.
Thank you.
That's right, yeah.
I just completely forgot the word
yeah.
then. Yeah,
Even I did as well.
What's that called again, Craig?
You know the bad thing is, Debbie, is over the Christmas holidays, there's going to be some Craft Your Stash shows, and I just the other day done a whole hour on an updated adhesive shows. So that should be in my mind straight away, tape runners. So you've got that to look forward to.
I'm glad it's just not me. I'm glad it's not me. And I find that much neater. Plus, we are going to put a little base on the inside, because if I just show you my finished one, if we get the time, we're going to have a little play with the others and just sometimes like to do that and then put your own base inside there. So we will cut some more mats and layers, but for now, that's your card base done. Now, the other bit that I want to bring in is some black cardstock. Bring your guillotine back in, because the stencil that I'm going to be using is one, and I've gone with the contemporary florals. I love flowers, and I think these are 5x5. Now, you can make life a bit easy for yourself. What we'll just do is we'll cut ourselves 3 pieces at 5x5, but we will be trimming it down. So I will show you, I will be trimming that down. But just for now, cut yourself 3 pieces at 5x5, just to get yourself, because we are going to be taking 3 sheets of this and repeating this pattern 3 times. So what I'm going to be doing with the pearl powders in a second is creating it 3 separate times. And I wonder if I can get, just slightly. Yeah, it's always pays to try and get most out your cardstock. Sometimes it doesn't quite work, but it doesn't matter, because you should have a ready supply. And if you've gone for that Showstopper, was that in the Showstopper? Black cardstock. I thought I saw it in there.
Oh, was that all in the Showstopper as well?
Yeah, the 5x7 panels. I love them. I don't seem to waste as much on a 5x7.
It's that big. We've had to separate it my side, and I thought they were both separate. There we go. Craig, do your homework. We'll go over it just shortly.
It's on to the side, Craig. It's on to the side.
That one. That's. I wondered what that was there for. It's Sunday. It's been a busy weekend.
Exactly. Now, I've got my pieces cut. So I'm going to put those to one side for now. This is when you're going to take your chosen colours. Now, I've personally just used 3 of my favourite colours. I seem to have a bit of a theme going off at the minute. So I've taken out of the Shimmering Garden, I've taken the Shimmering Rose. Out of the Rich and Intense, I've taken, oh my God, my favourite, the Rich Purple. And out of the Mystical moments, I've taken the blue ice.
I love that blue.
I love all three of those.
Yeah, they are
I love them all.
beautiful, yeah, exactly, snap.
I mean, to be fair, Craig, if I'd have let myself go loose, I'd have probably used nearly all the pots, to be fair. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take... So I have one dedicated sponge. I can't remember the name of these sponges.
The egg,
Blended eggs. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's an egg shape, isn't it? But I know it's got an... Is it mini blending sponge?
They're an egg to us.
Because it looks like an egg.
It does.
It does look like a little egg. For me, I find these a little bit easier to get into my stencil with our watermark glue, because we obviously need something for the pearl powders to stick to.
Don't use a natural egg, though. That won't work.
No, no natural eggs, no. What I am going to do, though, is give myself a bit of an helping hand, and I'm going to just use a little bit of yellow tack tape just to hold that down. At this stage, I wouldn't be bothering too much with your sprays. You know, I don't think you need it, because you can control with your blending sponge. But we need our translucent clear, and I'm going to use the fat bottom side just into my powder. Just into my sponge. Give that a good coverage, and then just dab it in. So I'm not being... I mean, you can, of course, take a blending tool and go around that if that's what you want to do, but I just find it a little bit easier to dab into that stencil. And you can normally see, I think I'm just going to have to change my glasses though, Glenn, because, Glenn? I'm calling you Glenn? I'm doing it again, that's my ex-husband's name. What on earth is wrong with me today? Oh, sorry, Craig. Sorry. I don't
even know who Glenn is, but...
my ex-husband, for some reason.
Oh.
I've done it before. I think I did it to Ben once. Don't ask me why. I'm sorry, Craig. I know exactly
I don't know what he's like, so you don't need to apologise to me.
No,
you know, ex-husband for a reason.
Oh, dear. I hope he's not watching. Now, I'm just dabbing that in, Craig, just to make... Yeah, can we edit that bit out, please? Can we cut that bit out? Yeah, so thank you. Rewind that tape and just cut that bit out. If only things were that simple, eh, Craig?
If only, I know, eh?
Well, that's the thing. It's a pre-record. But then it won't kind of continue. People will be wondering what we're talking about now, could we?
Like right now, we're still going on about it. That's going to be a whole chunk that Jamie's going to have to edit out.
So give that a nice coverage.
We'll get called into the office next week. And why was your craft along like 20 minutes long talking about Glenn?
Oh, typical me. Oh, here we go. Anyway, you can see now where all that lovely translucent clear. At this stage, I'm not going to wipe anything off. I don't need to, because we are going to be repeating this. I am just going to cover that over, though, just in case any of this gorgeous powder gets out and about, because it can happen. You can use your little sieve if you want to use your little sieve as well, but I'm just going to tap straight directly onto it. I find as well, a little goes a long way with these. You don't need to be too heavy-handed. Now, I know right now on the camera won't show. It will in a second, believe you me. So, again, I'm just going to randomly pop. And, again, this is your choice. It's your craft along. You can choose your own colours. I'm not dictating. It's just the people like to ask what I've used. Yeah. And this is the colours that I've used. But, of course, you can, ultimately, if you've got all of those gorgeous powders, choose as many colours as you want. Stick to one colour if you want. I always feel like I've never got enough, but I should really trust the process.
I have to trust myself as well.
Yeah, stop. We've got the fan brush, which is a great way of just sweeping now across the powder. Oh, God, they come to life. They come to life so beautifully when you take... Oh, I know right now on the screen it doesn't look like much, but wait till I lift that up. You are going to be blown away because these really are the most beautiful, beautiful powders. I absolutely love them, and I know they've been a firm favourite with the team as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to give that a nice little tickle over. If you've got one of those spare pots, I know we had a kit once. I don't know if you've still got that kit. Yeah. You can pop that into a little spare pot, or like you do, Craig, sometimes with your little pots that you get from food takeaway shops and things like that. You could be popping.
Oh, I don't have takeaways, Debbie.
You don't cook everything from fresh, Craig. Oh, look at that. I'm just going to angle that for a second. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful. Really beautiful. Now, we are going to set that in a minute, but we are going to repeat that. So, I'm just going to bring in my second piece.
Nice.
I'm going to put the stencil back over the top. Just anchor that down, and we're going to repeat that process. So again, taking your little sponge or your applicator and just going over the top of the stencil. Try not to sweep underneath. If you sweep underneath, what can tend to happen is that that can come underneath the stencil, and then it affects your pattern when you put your powders on the top of it. So I am just literally pushing the sticky ink into the stencil.
I have to say, Debbie, what you're just saying, and that's what happened to me. And of course, you know, we get called like craft expert in that. Sometimes I question myself on that one, but when we first brought these ones out, I was doing what you were saying. I was doing the ink, the actual watermark ink pad, and pushing it in to the stencil, and exactly what you were saying. It was starting to kind of like bleed, because there's still a base of like water, liquid that's in it within the stickiness. It was bleeding under, and I actually seen you use them on a past, I actually think it was a hobby maker show, and you were doing something similar, and I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't I think? And I'll sometimes use the blending tool or that, but still what I'll do is exactly what you're doing now, by pushing it in with the tool, not the pad. Yeah,
because it can happen, and you know, I only say that because I've done it myself, so I know we can say that because we've been there, we've done that, we've worn the t-shirt. So yeah, it's just about just dabbing it in, and then taking your little. They never cease to amaze me when I just get. When you take it across there, you see that literally come to life. And I don't mind that blend of a mix of colours. I quite like that. If you want to keep it separate, though, absolutely, you know, do that. But these fan brushes, oh my God, I want thousands of them because I absolutely love them. Love the fan brush.
They're so good and so versatile.
They are so good. And
nice
again,
just to feel as well.
Look at that. That looks absolutely beautiful. Now, I know I've got my little fingers. I've just got a couple of little fingerprints on there. I'm not worrying too much because, again, we're going to be snipping this down once we've set it. But again, there's just something about these powders that literally takes my breath away. They're absolutely beautiful. And then the third and final time, we're going to do exactly that same thing again. We're going to take that over the top. Hold that down, take our sponge and push into that stencil. Now, I know on black card it can be sometimes quite difficult to see where that sticky ink has gone. So I work in sections. I don't know if you've noticed. I work down into sections. Actually, yeah, so that I can, and I usually ruffle it. Can you see like I've got a line fast? Bit difficult with some of the patterns on the stencils, but some made that a little bit easier. But I just want to make sure I've got a good coverage, because if I haven't got a good coverage, what can happen is that the pearl powder can totally skip it and miss it. So just make sure you've got a good coverage, but push it real good into that stencil.
Push it.
I love that song. A bit of salt and pepper. 80s, I think they were, weren't they? If I remember rightly. I want to say 80s.
Well, I was born 85, so.
Oh, you see, they were.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Push it real good. Do. Oh, the year you were born, Craig.
So they're 39 years old, Salt and Pepper.
Oh, my life. Yeah, they've had
so
some
they had
good
a lot. Yeah, well, you see, I know of them and know their stuff from the 90s stuff that they brought out.
Well, I loved them. Back in my heyday, Jamie, can you hear him? He's like tumbleweed in his ear. Bless his little cotton-picking socks, because he's a very young man.
And I am now at that age, Debbie, whereas I speak about something and someone about me go, I wasn't even born then.
Oh, it's terrible.
I am now at that age.
Makes me feel so old.
Do you know what's funny as well, Debbie? I know obviously you're just replicating what you've done before, so this will be very quick, but whenever I go home to Scotland, obviously I worked in food retail for just shy of 18 years, and it's what's scary is when I see the mums with their now grown-up children that were little babies or little toddlers when I worked in the food store, and I'm like, that's not them, that's not them, and they're like, yes, it is. I'm like, that is scary.
It's so scary, isn't it? It really, really is. Oh, my life.
Oh, wow, look at that one.
Look at that. I'm going to do that shot again just at the front. Absolutely stunning. Now, we are going to set those in a second, but what I just need to do is scoop up the excess powder and clear up, because I don't know if you noticed, but that Sarah called me a mucky pup of the week. I was watching the show when she said I'd left the glass matting estate. The very cheek. The very cheek. It wasn't me, is all I'm going to say. I think somebody came in and did a bit of secret filming. That's all I'm going to say, because I cleaned up. I know I did.
There was something else as well. I'm not sure if she was doing a cartload or something with Ben about 2 weeks ago or something. And she said something about me, and it just so happened that I was watching. I got on that phone. I was like, don't blame me. She blames her. Sarah's the worst.
I was the same.
She is
I was actually watching.
worst.
I was just tuning in at that point when she was like this. And I was like, what's going off? And then she blamed me, and I'm like, I cleaned it all up. I mean, one thing I know I am good at, which I know we joke about, I am a bit of a messy crafter. I know, but I do tidy up. I sweep up at the end of the day. I'm a good girl, me, you know.
Yeah,
I
you
am.
are. Yeah.
I'm on that. Wait a minute. What's this pre-record going out at?
Sunday.
Good girl. So I'll get all my presents at Christmas.
Yes, you
That's
will.
all I'm going to say. Yes. So I'm just. All I wanted to do was just clean that up before I get into any more trouble. Yeah. Actually, though, to be fair, do you know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
Just to cut this time down. Bit of scrap.
Yeah. Get
your spongy.
Yeah.
Little egg-shaped sponge.
Okay.
I've just cleaned up now, haven't I?
You have?
Do that for you, Daft Devil. Oh, actually, I'll put that underneath. Oh, please excuse the lipstick. Oops.
Do you know what I'm laughing at, Debbie?
Yes.
Is when you're watching this on Sunday,
yes,
I will both be here and live on Hobbymaker at the same time. Hi, Craig. Wow, he's got a twin.
Oh, you can say hi to yourself. Hi, Craig.
Yeah.
Hi.
And then I need to clip that out, clip this out, put them together.
Oh, dear. Now, I've just chosen pink for this. You can, of course, give it a little multicolour. But what I just wanted to do was have a little piece ready for my sentiment to die cut out of. So that's why I've just popped a little bit onto there. Don't worry about your fan brush being stained. It doesn't affect it. Once it's clean, you give it a little wipe clean. It's absolutely good to go. So that was my last little piece there. Now, we are going to set this because this is, oh, do you know, where's Brenda gone when you need her? I tell you what, I'll use, do you know what I'm going to use? Please, oh my God, it gets worse. I've had a bit of a lipstick, can I just say, I've had a little bit of a lipstick disaster today. Yeah, so that's yeah, we're using Brenda, woohoo, she's out. Thank you, Craig. Brenda makes an appearance again. Liam's going like this in the air because he's so excited that we've brought Brenda back in. But yeah, Liam's seen Brenda. So I'm going to put Brenda back down there. And I'm going to give my little hairspray. I know, Craig, you've said cheap as chips, but I ain't got any cheap as chips, so it's the best stuff. But it'll do, because all I want to do is, give it a shake first, Debs, give it a shake. Give it a clean, because we know.
See, expensive hairspray doesn't always work.
No, I know, that's absolutely true. And I just want to give it a tiny, you don't need a lot, just to set that. And I'm going to do that with all 3 pieces.
Okay.
And that will mean that none of your pale powder will disperse off after time.
Got ya.
So it's always a good one to do. Now, if you want to use spray and shine, absolutely fine, you can do that too. Okay. It doesn't take long, actually, to dry either the hairspray.
No.
But whatever you do, don't heat set it. It's hairspray at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
No.
So I'm just going to put my hair... Oh, it smells delicious, that one. Wow. And Brenda can go away, because we have used her, and she's going to go and sit under there. I'm going to keep my eye on where she actually is, because that's what I needed to do. It was just to give this that setting period. And I know you've used hairspray, haven't you, Craig?
Yes,
yeah. Like I said, you can use spray and shine, but that gives you a clear varnish over the top. So it'll give, where all the black matte bits are, that'll become shiny as well. You'll not lose any of that sparkle, but what you'll end up with is like a shiny full piece. So for those that don't have cheap as chips hairspray or don't want to use hairspray, you can use our spray and shine. And I know our stateside friends, there's different variants over there, I think, isn't there? I can never remember the names. I do apologise, but you just need something to set it with. Now, I am going to trim these down because I need some little squares.
Okey-doke.
Let me just give...
Actually, on that note of the hairspray, Debbie, when we'd done these on a past Crafters TV show, a lady was having issues. It turned out she was using a hairspray that had like a coconut oil fragrance to it. So just make sure it's just like a plain, bog standard, no fragrance, no nothing, no oils, no nothing, just a plain hairspray.
Thank you for saying that, Craig. See, I only use bog standard ones. I don't really use... Yeah, so...
Nope.
Now, what I want to do is I want to cut this down to 4.5 inches. So... I might be like wasting a little tiny bit, but I'm not too worried because it'll make sense when it comes to using our square pieces. So I'm just trimming to the end, like so. I think I can get away with a little bit more on that side. That's it. And then I want that to be a 4.5 inch square piece to be able to work my squares in, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these squares down to 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 and 2... Wait a minute, 4.5, 4.5, half of 4.5 is 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2. Did I say 2 3/4?
Yeah.
I mean 2 and...
2 1/4?
Yeah, it's 2 1/4, Debbie, innit? Debbie, I've wrote me wrong things
Listen,
down.
me with
What am I
my
like?
maths.
Oh, it is. Do you know what it is? I've put it on my sheet, but I've put underneath 2 3/4. That becomes sense in a second.
Got ya.
I told you, me and maths don't work. Me and maths do not maths together.
Nope.
So 2 1/4. So you've got all these squares that you're going to get, and you should roughly, I mean, you could do some multiples as well if you want to add more squares. Oh, Debbie, 2 1/4, you just said it. Whew. What am I like? So you've got 4 squares out of 1. So we're going to end up with 4, 8, 12 in total. Just thought I'd double check that. And look, straight away it's set. There's nothing coming off on my hands. There's nothing. It's because it's been set.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to square that off again to 4.5. And I know you could, at this point, you could actually have started with a 4.5 inch square, which would work, but you probably have to seal your piece of card onto the back of your stencil.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it'd be easier doing it this way. So 2 1/4 to 2 1/4. I'll end up with all these gorgeous shiny squares.
I mean, the look, the reflection that you even get of the colours bouncing off them. I mean,
just...
Can you imagine, how much would you be if you even bought, not even a paper pad, but like a pack of 10 of them or something like that? I mean, the cost would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I really need to use these more. I mean, I was blown away when we first launched these because I was like, oh my God, so excited that we got this sparkle in this lovely sheen, metallic sheen. And the fact that, from a powder.
That's it, I know, eh?
A powder, Craig. I mean, really?
You think that's come like from a foiling machine or a foiling
That's what it looks like, yeah,
or,
absolutely. Now, we are going to be cutting some more, so I'm just going to get my rubbish in bin. I'm just going to do a little time check as well. Right, so do you know what I think we're going to do? Because I've just had a little time check. I think we're just going to have a little, shall we have a little pause?
Sounds good to me.
For people to catch up. You will have 12 of these, and we are going to mount them onto some white as well. But we'll come back to that in a second, and then we'll take our mats and leads, put everything together, and then do our little die cut piece. And I think that's probably going to sum it up, you know, the right timing. So just a little pause for people to catch up at this stage. So you'll end up with 12 of these squares, all ready for us to then mount and frame with mats and layers and put onto our black piece of cardstock. So I think we'll just take a little bit of a pause at this point.
Sounds good to me. And you can take a little bit of a pause, catch up, or of course, if you do want to grab your hands on what gives you that and that, which tells you, because you've got the powders in them, I know, who would have thought, you're going to get all of that within that Showstopper there. It's on the website, but what we'll do, we'll let you have a little look, catch up, and we're going to be back in a couple of moments. We will crack on, and she's had a lovely week off last week. She's back now, raring to go, so here's our Tracy.
Come in, check my emails, then lay the shows out in the studio, set pack shots up. Then I will get new polls, pick shows, solve any problems that need solving. We deal with other teams where we receive marketing suites, we receive boards. We pick samples to send to Hobby Maker. We pick samples to send to QVC. We will take the previous shows out of the studios, set the new shows up. We do floor manage occasionally, not all the time, making sure that the craft expert presenters have everything at hand that they need. Anything that they haven't got during shows, we will run about and get the products for them. I think on a morning when it's really quiet, I can get more done when there's nobody else in the building. Night owl. Morning. Coffee on a morning, tea the rest of the day. Savoury. Normally lunchtime. Craft along. Mobile phone. Christina's chicken wrap. Barry White. You're my first, my last, my everything. Go home and make the tea.
When I'm working, it's quite busy because I have to get up really early to come into work if I'm going to be travelling from London. But otherwise, I'm quite lazy. I spend a lot of time in bed. Best part of my day is when we come in and I get to see everybody. I really enjoy being up here. It's really nice to see all my friends, and this is my happy place. I do like to see everyone, and also, of course, if Christina's in, I'm getting my breakfast from Christina before I start the day. Early riser without a doubt, never a night owl. I'm in bed at 9:30. Bath at night, shower in the morning. I'm very clean. Tea, the colour of He-Man. Both. I like pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. Craft along, because there's always a softer side to craft along. My phone, my life is my phone. Yeah, the phone and the dog, unless I'm coming up here and I can't bring the dog in. My favourite lunch isn't lunch. My favourite lunch is afternoon tea. That's what I'd like. Lots of selection of sandwiches, some scones, or scones, some cream and jam, and some little cakes. But I couldn't have it every day because I'd be the size of a house. Oh, that changes to the moment. My favourite song at the moment is Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. Or make myself a cup of tea and go and have a bath.
There's just a couple of our experts that we've got here on Crafters TV that you see throughout the weeks here on our live shows and some of our weekend pre-records, which of course, this is what you're watching at the moment. It is of course Sunday, where we are having a look at the pearl powders with the Showstopper that is available. I'll go through with you just shortly, but this is all about the craft along that Debbie Robinson is doing for us. Now, if you want to grab hold of the whole Showstopper, it's on the website .co.uk.com or .eu. But what we did do, of course, is we gave you a little bit of a break so that you can catch up. And I think it's now time that we just delve back into the craft along and see what Debbie's going to be doing now.
Absolutely. Now, we've got all our squares cut. Now, really, I mean, this is the base that they're going to lay on. If I was to put those back on, it would have been a bit senseless me cutting them up. And you kind of lose a little bit of that. So we're going to make them pop. And the way we're going to make them pop is we're going to mount them onto, and this is when your scrap pieces from your earlier pieces will come in handy. We're going to mount each one onto some white cardstock, okay? So we can make this a bit easier for ourselves because we know that these squares were 2 1/4. So we'll take it to just 2 1/2. And we'll cut ourselves, now, did I say 12, didn't I? So yes. We'll cut ourselves 12 of these squares so that we can mount each one onto there, okay? So we'll put those on. There we go. So that's 3 done, and I am making the most of my cardstock here, so I'm using all the surplus bits that I use for my card base.
That was very Liverpudlian there.
Whatty?
That was very Liverpudlian
Did
there.
I go Liverpudlian?
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Is it going to be great? That's my best bit of me Liverpudlian accent there. I'm rubbish. I'm a rubbish scouse. Do you know what though? It's one of my favourite accents in the whole wide world.
I like it.
I absolutely love. I had a scouse boyfriend, you know, before the ex-husband.
Who, Glenn?
Oh, I can't remember his name now. Oh, what were he called? Oh, I were only young.
He wasn't that memorable then, was he?
No, I feel terrible. He made me a mixtape and everything. Because it always makes me laugh. Do you know the Friends episode with the mixtape? It makes me laugh because that's what he made me with all my favourite songs. Because we danced to, in Filey of all places, to Careless Whisper. And he were Liverpool, John, that was his name, John.
John.
John from Liverpool, wherever you are right now, if you're watching Crafters TV, hi. I was the girl you twizzled round the room, swirled round the room, and I just loved to listen to his accent because back in the day, it were all, you had to ring people on landlines, didn't you?
Yeah.
Back in my day, there were none of these dating apps and dating things and things like that, so I've just lost track of how many I've done. Great, but I've been counting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So yes, oh, now that I've run up, don't tell me I've got to go into it. Oh, I think I might have used all my white bits. Oh, do you know? There's some spare bits down here, Craig. See, this is why we save bits in our box. We can use them.
Look at that.
But yeah, those were the days.
Yeah.
But I love the Liverpool, and I still do, and I absolutely love Liverpool. Oh, have you ever been, Craig?
I've not been in the centre. I went last year to Croxteth Hall for a most haunted experience.
Oh, wow.
With the vet fielding and that. So that's the closest to Liverpool I've been.
Absolutely love the city. It's just beautiful. And I know it gets a lot of flack. And
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's not deserved.
No.
It's not deserved.
I mean, some incredible people, you know, like a comedian, actor, Ricky Tomlinson, of course, Brookside, the Royal Family.
Brookside. Bring it back.
Yeah, Brookside.
Bring Brookside back.
I love Brookside.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Sinbad.
And of course,
I
the
love
Beatles.
the American friends. I'm not going to have a clue what we're on about now.
How can we forget the Beatles?
The Beatles.
Yeah.
Cilla Black. Did you say Cilla?
Cilla as well.
Surprise.
Cilla, yeah. That's right.
Loved old Cilla.
And yeah.
Now then, were Paul O'Grady Liverpudlian?
Yes,
One
he
of my
was.
favourite all time.
Loved him.
Favourite all time. I actually cried when he passed.
Snap.
Cried.
Snap.
I cry sometimes at people like Liam Payne recently, that made me sad, and I cried, and Robin Williams, I was devastated.
Paul O'Grady, and then of course Matt from Friends.
Oh my God, don't.
Yeah.
That.
Yep.
Me and you, I remember messaging.
Actually, we were because I was home in Scotland at the time.
Yeah.
We were messaging each other.
Yeah. Oh, right,
Anyway, cheers.
Let's cheers. Oh,
It's Sunday.
it's a Sunday. We're having a little cheer. You're in Debbie and Craig's craft room, chatting away amongst each other
It's like
while
you're
we're
in a
making our
WhatsApp.
craft along.
If you want to know what our WhatsApps are like, well, you've just got it live.
Oh dear. So I am just literally matting and layering each one of those on. So we'll do that for all 12. So we can chat now, Craig, because this is a bit boring. People, unless they're doing in crafting with us, might...
What other UK icons have we got singer-wise? I know there's
Are you
plenty,
talking
isn't there?
Liverpudlian now? Or are you talking
we're
just
doing just in
anybody
general, you know, just in general. But we could go back to Cilla because she was an absolute icon.
She was a natural treasure.
Yes, she was. And it's not until I've become an adult that I've appreciated what she'd done.
Oh,
I mean, the
loved
other
her.
year there was the TV drama, weren't there, with
Yes. Sheridan Smith.
Sheridan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe Cilla Black, which she was originally Cilla White, wasn't she?
She was, yeah.
Her maiden name was Cilla White, and then she got married and she was Cilla Black, which I just think that's brilliant.
Kind of two colours in a name.
Two colours in the name.
Hey, I know what to ask you because it's over now, so we can talk about it. Jungle. Celebrity Jungle.
Yeah.
My boy Danny won.
See, I thought you were going to want Alan from Coronation Street.
I did love, I'll tell you now, they were my top two.
But yeah.
Because you know I've met him when I took my mum for her Coronation Street experience, and he was the loveliest. And do you know what he came across on show? He was the loveliest person, so kind, and I know that people say, well, he gets paid to do it. No, you could tell he was there for it because he loved what he did. And I just thought he'd come across as just as lovely as he were when I met him.
Because was it you that was saying that he was meant to do I'm a Celebrity last year, but did he have an accident or...
Did he break something?
Break something,
he should. Yeah, so he got the opportunity to do it again. But for me, because you know I'm a massive McFly fan, I still can't get over like Sarah knowing Tom and being friends with him, because I'm like, God, I love him. Because I have loved McFly, and this is down to my daughter Tanya.
Right, okay.
So my daughter Tanya, massive Busted fan. Massive McFly fan. So for me, and I can't wait, and I'm actually going to see them on tour later on in the new year. Someone's coming with me, but she doesn't know yet.
Gotcha.
And just in case she happens to be looking in today, I'm not going to say anything because it's a Christmas present. But yes, so I'm really looking forward to going and seeing them because they're absolutely fabulous. But yeah, Danny Jones, I adore that boy.
I have to say that I'm one of those, when it comes to things such as reality shows, Big Brother, I am one. I do like a little bit of bickering. However, this year, within I'm a Celebrity, there was none of that, and I really enjoyed it, Debbie.
It was lovely.
They all got
refreshing.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what? Still entertaining.
Maybe questionable on the radio DJ, that's just my opinion. I wasn't overly enamoured with him, but overall, I just thought it was a really, really good season here in the UK. Loved it.
Absolutely. Now, we've got all of our 12 laid out. I want you to bring back in, and this is your matte black cardstock, which layer was the 7x7, because this is when we're going to have a bit of fun.
Okay.
And I am going to start with a couple in the centre. Let's go in, I'm going to try and, so I'm going to start with a couple in the centre. I am going to use, at this point, some of the, gorgeous, you know I love this glue, but it gives me that wiggle time to get this, and I just say stick it down anyway to start with, but don't press it down just yet, because what I'm going to do is line that up, because what I want it to do is go, is it horizontal? Not horizontal.
I always get horizontal.
I always get mixed up. Diagonal, thank you.
Diagonal.
I nearly called you producer Jamie again. I'm upgrading him. I keep telling him. I'm giving him a new job title, but producer Nick might get a bit miffed with me if I do that, so... Internal argument going off in my ear now. She's saying no, you can have it. And he's like, no, thank you.
Producers and directors, they really do take offence, don't they? Because director Dan at Hobbymaker, I once tagged him as a producer. Oh my gosh, the message I got from him, obviously friendly banter, but yeah, he was like, no, I'm a director, not producer. I was like, sorry.
I know, I get it mixed up all the time. So I've got it going diagonal. I'm not going to worry about anything overhanging yet because we're going to trim that off. But I am going to offset it. So I could have done them side by side, but I like the offset because it gives it a little bit more of a fun feature. And again, I'm going to use wet glue.
Okay.
Just to get it placement, I think is the word I'm looking for there. To get that placed well. And I'm just going to check it that side as well. Yeah, that'll do. That will do. It creates a nice bit of interest, and it's something a little bit different, and that's what I love with Craft Along. We've got the time to be able to create something a little bit unusual, haven't we? So,
and I think with something like this, visually, that we can see there at the moment, Debbie, it does look, no pun intended, it does look flat, but because, of course, you've got that pearl powder, it's when you lift it and look at it, that's when it really makes it elevate, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I've realised I put wet glue under here. Whoops. So what I will do is just use my tape pen for the rest of it, because silly old me, I'm going to end up with glue all over the joint. There we go. So I'm just going to pop that, and like I said, we're going to trim all this down in a bit. I'm just going to make sure it's all into place, and we are going to be using the waste parts. There we go. So come in that side.
Such a funky card.
I love something a bit funky. Actually, do you know what? Rather than me wasting these 3 squares, I could save these, because I'm just thinking these are going to fit in. Yeah. So I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
Which I know looks bizarre. However, get your guillotine back. So I'm going to bring my big one in again, because I've got an 8x8. So
Right-yo.
I'm going to bring the big one back in. I'd retied it to its little craft area and realise I haven't quite finished with it yet. And turn it that way, and then just line your black cardstock up at the end of the silver blade, so I know that I'm not going to snip into the black cardstock, and snip down.
Okay.
And these pieces we are going to use, so don't be thinking for a second we're going to waste. We're not. We're going to take that, line it up on the edge of that silver blade, and take those pieces off. The same with this side. This is where I'm now going to get into a little bit of a sticky situation, because guess who's used wet glue on this one? That would
Sarah.
be me.
No, we'll just blame Sarah.
We'll blame Sarah. We will. She blames us, so we're going to blame her.
You know how Fisher never gets the blame for things, does she?
She never gets blamed for anything,
No.
does she? No, I know.
I know.
Now, let me
It's always us two.
I'm just going to trim that off, because I realised that was just that little bit over. And this is... Oh, put that down, Debbie. We're going to use these pieces, because I think that one, if I just pop a little bit more glue, will fit nicely into there. That one, I think, will fit quite nicely. Now, no, let's have a look. Yes!
Oh, look at that. Isn't that satisfying?
Absolutely. When something comes together, oh my God, it's almost like it was meant to be.
It is.
Absolutely fabulous. Now then, I think I might be cutting it a bit fine with that one. Yeah, I'll use that one. Yeah, that's it. There, see?
So
and I've still got 3 intact squares. Ooh, that worked out well. See, when I did it at home, I didn't have that luxury, because I just went mad and put all squares on and then cut it down. Let's just make sure I've got that off there.
Loving
Line
how
that
this
up.
is looking.
Now, you could use scissors at this point, or you could get your guillotine back out. I think for speed, I'm just going to, because I'm only just cutting a couple of little pieces off. If you don't feel comfortable using your scissors, get your guillotine back out, because it'll take seconds. But again, I feel okay with that. And then I'm just going to move those to one
Fun
side.
you'll have with these powders.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Aren't they fab? And look at that.
I mean, that's so smart. Oh, look.
And that's how you create that lovely background. And then again, to make that pop and make it almost come into line with each other, we're going to pop it onto some white. So it's, you know, sometimes black and white gets a bit of a, you know, I think we should use it more.
A hard
because I think it looks really
I
quite
could not agree
effective.
with you more, Debbie.
Yeah, looks really effective.
Could not agree with you more.
And frames it beautifully as well. So I'm just going to hold that, wet glue, make sure that's all lined up, turn that over.
Also gives me a feel of like film reels. You know, the
Yes.
film reels.
Yeah. And there you go. And then we're going to pop that on. Now, if you want to take out your centre, because you could have used some of those squares, of course, for your pieces there, I'm going to give it a little bit of extra strength today, so I'm not going to extract it, which is I normally do. And then, but again, it's Tracy's cardstock, so she won't mind.
Oh, just be honest. I am. You know what
At
I'm
home,
like.
Craig, at home, let me tell you
Oh,
now.
snap.
At home, that would have been extracted.
Of
Let me
course.
tell you, I make sure mine goes the longest way. And then we're going to bring in our card base.
Okay.
And now you see it's starting to take shape. And we're just going to finish it off now. I don't feel that this needs anything else other than a sentiment.
No, I agree with you.
Now, joking aside, I know you all know, and I think it's become a little bit of a Debbie characteristic now, because I know Jamie always jokes with me, Lily always jokes with me, that I do use it a lot, is all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But I am going to use my With Love. You can choose any sentiment, but look how gorgeous that looks.
That is
Look at that shine.
sensational.
But I'm going to use my With Love. So that little bit of black scrap we're going to run through. Now, I've got my mini, because of course this is a mini die. I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit, because I probably could use that with something else as well. But again, I'm going to use white as well. So I'm going to cut this out twice. And just remind me of the time.
We've got about 5
Oh,
minutes.
that's okay. That's okay. That'll do. That'll be fine. So we've got our first With Love. But again, if I was to put that on the back of that background now, it kind of gets, and I'm just going to show you, it kind of gets a little bit lost.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
So
it?
just that pop of white round the back, and I think I've got a little spare of a scrap piece that should fit on top. Perfect. That bit of white just drop shadowed underneath that With Love sign, makes it pop. I'm just gives it that little elevation.
Okay.
Which is what I'm after. I'm not after anything else, just that little bit of an elevation, that little bit of a pop. And we'll just take that out. Now, of course, at this stage, you could use your nesting dies. You could put a nice sentiment running through the middle of it if you wanted to. I'm just going to use the dotty tape pen for a little bit of speed. Plus, the dotty tape pen hits all the right spots, which is perfect for your sentiments. And then I'm going to give that the tiniest, and I say the tiniest, I'm going to drop it down and drop it to the right. And just to give it that little bit of pop to pop. And it just gives it that little lift. Just
so
absolutely love a drop shadow. Can't help it. I've done it for years. I don't know about yourself, Craig.
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same.
I just don't think I'll ever tire of it.
No, I don't think I could.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to stick that down. Now I'm going to probably take it into that square. You could, of course, go across, but again, you might lose a little bit of it with it being matted and lead. So I'm just going to pop it into there, or you could go up here or down in this one. And I'm going to come down here and add that in. Now, what's the timing doing? So, I was going to say, we could do that centre part because, of course, that's our craft, what we've just done. But this one, and I did a tent fold on this one. So a tent fold is just a slightly different way. So wherever you angle it, doesn't really matter. And you can see the two. Do you know what? I think I might have used a different colour there. I've just realised. Well, I never. I've used a different colour.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, me thinking I got them all. Let me just explain what I did with this. In fact, very quickly. It was just exactly the same. A 7.5 inch square black, a 7.25 inch square white, and then using these, and do you know what we could do? We could pop them into each corner, cut them in half, pop them in the corners. And I just used, you can see when I said about I used all mine and just shoot scraps up, because I literally did. But you've got 3 squares left to either do another card with, maybe if you're doing multiple layers of them, or you could do this insert bit, and that's just to give it that little finish. But that is your craft along with those beautiful, beautiful pearl powders. And I'm just going to give it the little wiggle, wiggle. Woo-doo-woo. Shiny, shiny. Oh, I absolutely love them. Beautiful whichever way you do these. And again, so easy. And just play. Just have a little play. Because I could have used all of those fabulous stencils, stamps, embossing folders. But it's sometimes nice just to have a little bit of play with paper and card. And those beautiful pearl powders, which I know that you are going to love as well. One thing I want you to promise me, please tag myself and Craig so we can see what you've done with the craft along and see what you've created and the colours that you've used, because I'm a nosy devil. Maybe Debbie doesn't come without a reason, because I do want to see what you've been doing. Just make sure you tag us.
Yes, definitely do that, of course. Always good to see what you do when it comes to, of course, the craft along. Craft along, all about the pearl powders. What you've got here within the Showstopper, £140 or $180. You've got the platinum price at $140 or, of course, $180. Well, sorry, your today's price, £140, $180. But then your platinum price is going to be $112 or $144. That consists of everything that I showed you before, but you are going to be getting all of the extra bits. So you're going to be getting the actual 4-pack of pearl powders, 4 different colours within each tub. You're going to get that fan brush as well. You're also going to get that cute little sieve. Can I just say, I don't use it for my pearl powders. It's in my kitchen. I use it to dust my cakes. You can do that. If you do that, only keep it for cooking. Don't use it for your pearl powders as well. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then you're also going to get that whole pack of 5x7 matte black cardstock. And then you're going to get our watermark ink pad as well within our new teardrop shape. That's what you're going to be getting, as well as everything else that we've shown you here. You've got the stamps, you've got the folders, you've got the stencils in there, and you've of course got all the inspiration on past shows as well as this show across on our Crafters TV YouTube channel. Debbie, thank you so much for that beautiful craft along.
You're very welcome. You are very welcome, and I hope you enjoyed it as well as much as me and Craig have.
Absolutely, for sure. Rightio, we've got another brand new week coming your way on Crafters TV all this week, not long till Christmas time. So we will see you live tomorrow back here on Crafters TV. Doodles.